Dooba-dooba-doo. Alright, so this is my first video ever. Sorry for the horrible quality, sorry for the horrible lighting, and everything else that's going to go wrong. Um, the only reason I'm making this video is because I liked my build. It was fun, it was effective, and I'm a nerdy guy. I like to roleplay a little bit. And when you're walking through the ship, it felt nice. It was small, it was simple, it was fast, it was effective. It's not the greatest, it doesn't have all the stats, it's not max weapons, max engines, max grav drive, you know, but it's highly effective. Right now, with the setup I've got, it's got a reactor of 40, and it takes about 46 power to power this thing. So almost every system is fully powered. It's highly effective, especially in those long sustained fights that you'll have if you ever come up against multiple enemies. I like it, but it's not for everybody. My friend asked me to build him a ship, and he was lower level, so I built a small little fast attack ship, and yeah, now I'm going to show everybody else here how to build it. But because I am not the greatest, I'm going to build it a little weird, so forgive me. First and foremost, this is the Frontier. So it does have the unique hab right here in the middle of Nova Galactic Frontier. You can replace that with whatever hab you guys want. You can make this a part of your Frontier, doesn't matter. But the Frontier has this unique hab. Second, I got landing gears that are Nova Galactic specific, so you have to go to Titan. You have to pick those up. Those are these ones right here. I've got 4 of them. If you want to get 6, you can. They're the best landing gears in the game, and I say that because they provide not only the most lander thrust, but the most hull, which is your health. So they're great gears. They're not too expensive, and they're worth the buy. Second, I have the SAL 6830s. I know not everybody has access to those right away. That's fine. You don't need access to those right away. You can take the downgrade, the 6330s, or whatever. This is just, I liked that for that section of the ship, and that provides the most mobility, so I was like, screw it, I have access to it, I'm going to get it. Also, I do have some shielded cargo right here, as well as a jammer. You can get those, again, at one of the specialty shops. The one from the Red Mile is the one I usually go to. That way, whether you side with or against the pirates, you can still go there and get that. Also, for my weapons, I've got the Vanguard Hellfire Autocannon and the Vanguard Obliterator Auto Projector, both of which you get after completing the first Vanguard mission. So, excuse me, the first UC Vanguard mission. So, some of the things on here are a little like, oh, hey, I have to do this to get it. I have to do that to get it. That's fine. You can supplement it with other things. The main thing that we're going to be focusing on is the build. So, after you get your landing gears, because that's actually essential, you're also going to need these 2 little cross sections. Nova Galactic has them, Hope Tech has them. Hope Tech looks all stealthy and cool. Nova Galactics are generally white and simple. It's completely up to personal preference which one you use. Hope Tech also has a forward to back one. Nova Galactic only has the side to side. Doesn't really matter in this case because we're only using the side to side. Once you get all of the required parts that you want or need or are going to use, I like to go personally to my outpost and build there. That's where we are right now, is at my outpost. So when I open this up, I have all of the habs. I have a lot more of the cockpits. You know, it just provides you with a lot more options to build and do different things. So with that being said, let's get started. First and foremost, I built this in a weird way, so you'll have to forgive me. I built it in sections. First, I knew I wanted something like akin to a fighter, something fast, something maneuverable, and for some reason, some little Batmanish type Batwing stuck out in my head, or something like a Viper's teeth. So I built the two things on the side first. The first thing I did was the Stroud Eklund cap. I doubled that, flipped it, and just made this little piece right here. Super simple, super easy. For those who don't know, just go over to structural, go down to Eklund Stroud. This one right here. There's your first one. You can duplicate it and then flip it. And there's your second one. After that, but you don't have to do this, I put a little thruster thing, because like I said, I like to roleplay, I'm a nerd. I put a little thruster array down here at the bottom. And I put a weapons mount here up top. Now, as you see, that just clicked in. There is no glitches, there's no mods, there is no cheating at all on this build. This build is 100% idiot proof. Super simple. No like, oh, I got banned for doing this. Nope. Everything here is legit and legal. Now, I would say next is this landing gear, but if you look, there's no connection point on the front of the landing gear. That's fine. We don't need a connection point. What's actually next is I did a 3x1 berthing. Now, which halves you pick are completely up to you. I personally went with the Deimos 3x1 berthing because I liked the interior of it. Now, if you want to go for exterior, I might actually suggest either the Nova Galactic 3x1 or the HopeTech 3x1. Simply because with that, you can add a weapon right here to this point, and it makes it a lot easier. Now you can add some weapons with this setup, but not too many. But once I've got that attached, I can then attach my landing gear down at the bottom. Again, like I said, I'm a bit of a role-playing nerd, so I attached a thruster array to each side of the landing gear, and I did that with all my landing gears. There's thrusters, because I like to see it. And then I also attached some windows, because I do walk through my ship and I look out the windows. Now, you can put windows across the entire top. I put windows on the front and the back section, and then I put an equipment plate in the middle. The reason I put an equipment plate in the middle is this weapon right here, this turret. I sometimes change its position, and I will put it where the equipment plate is. Sometimes I want one turret, in which case I put it right here. Sometimes I want two turrets. Sometimes I want four turrets, in which case I put another weapons mount right here next to the fuel tank and attach another turret. My turrets are rear facing because I have found that over 70% of combat is going to either be directly in front of you or directly behind you. So side facing turrets are honestly a waste of energy and a waste of a weapon slot. And most of the time, even when they're at your sides, because you're moving forward, they're going to slowly shift to be behind you. So it's just easier to just have forward and rear facing weapons. And since you can't aim behind you, turrets are your best bet. So I got my little turret right here, right in the middle. And then I have a window at the back on the exterior edge. I don't have one on the interior edge because I've got my reactor on one side and my grav drive on the other. But we'll get to that in a minute. Back to here, the bottom. I put a fuel tank underneath. Now, I have the 210 grav drum fuel. You can put whichever you want under there. However, there's not too many that can mount like that. So you have this one right here. This side mount, side mount, side mount, back mount. This one is side, front, back, but no top or bottom. Same thing with these, side, side. Now this one, not much fuel. Same thing with this one, the 70. And then the rest are all side or back mounted. So if you want to try and save as much weight as you can, go with this one. You get a total of 140 fuel. It's not a bad amount of fuel. You got to make more jumps, yes. But with this ship, it tears through enemies so fast. It's kind of fun. You collect a lot of shit. You make a lot of money. People are like, how do I make so much money every time I go out on a mission? Because I don't jump straight to the mission. I sometimes take a jump or two in between, and then I just collect things, and I sell it all. Like, one of my buddies couldn't figure out how I was making, over 200K a mission, and he's on his like 5th mission, and he's not even at 80K. So I showed him a video of me doing it, and he's like, oh my god, that makes sense. Having little ones like this can be annoying sometimes, I won't lie. But like I said, it helps you engage more and get more stuff. But I just went with these because I can go across the galaxy with these. Alright, the last thing on the bottom, I got the 20T cargo. I did that because I did not want any more mass, because I still wanted to keep my mobility up as high as possible. But I also need more cargo. Like, I'm a hoarder. I need cargo. I hoard everything because, like I said, I go out on missions. I collect it all, and then I sell it. Once I was done with that, this thing has this engine. I install the engine. This engine has no side mount, so if I left it here, there's nothing to clip into. So I just, bam. There's one side. Yes, I know there's only one lander under here, but this is how I built it. I built it one side at a time. And I did the same exact process for the other side. Got that. Got that. Moved in my hab. Now for this side, and you can switch sides, you can, like I said, you can use different ones. I went with the Deimos Engineering Bay B. The Bay A is more of a traditional bay. It's got your motors and servos and things like that. Bay B looks like something out of Star Trek, in my opinion. It's very electrical. And being the fact that we're in space, I was like, I feel like that's more appropriate. Again, me being a nerd and whatever. So I'm just going to rush through this, because like I said, it's the same exact thing on the other side. So it's nothing special. Now, all these aesthetic parts, again, I do that because I like it. You don't have to do that. You can save weight and get rid of all of these windows, get rid of all of these little thruster things, Whatever aesthetic pieces you want to get rid of, you can get rid of those. They are not essential to the build. I just like them. Doobie doobie doobie. Doobie doobie doobie. Doobie doobie doobie. Alright. So the next thing I did is I knew I wanted a slim cockpit. I didn't want one of the big ones. I didn't want one of the fancy ones. I wanted one I could get anywhere. Because like I said, I wanted this to be a starfighter. I didn't want this to be like a fancy cruiser. So I just went with a straight up old school C2 cockpit. Now, this was not the first cockpit I tried. I tried all of them. I specifically went with this one because this one allows me to have 3 weapons mounts on it. One on each side, and then one on the bottom. This allows me to have a lot of forward-facing weapons all at once without, extra weight. Because as little weight as these are, the equipment plates, the weapons mounts, they are extra weight. And you do want to keep your weight as minimum as possible because you want to have your mobility as high as possible. So the first hab I like to put behind my bridge is I like to go with the crew stations. I like to go with the crew stations for several reasons. Number one, the crew stations provides you with 4 crew spots. So if you want to get the maximum number of crew, you're halfway there just based on this. Yes, I know, if you actually know what you're doing with the build, that's not how this works. But this helps. Number 2, in reality, when you are in the Navy, ask me how I know that. Being near the bridge, there's specific work centers, specific operations, and the control station is the closest to what I have seen ops look like. So I put the control station right behind the bridge. So bam, bam, right into that. Next, I put the computer core. I did the computer core simply and only because that put my max crew up to 8. That's the max you can have in the game at this current moment for Xbox. PC players, y'all be glitching and cheating, that's on you. But right now, with abilities and everything else, you can only get up to 8. So that's what I put it up to. Prior to that, I swapped this out for a workstation. I had an armory in there to show off some of my armors. I've tried a couple of different things. Right now, I've got the computer core. It works. And then finally, in this long row, I have my Tayo Captain's Quarters. Now, I went with a Tayo Captain's Quarters for one reason and one reason only. I like the Tayo Captain's Quarters. I think they look phenomenal. I think they're the best looking ones. If you look at the Nova Galactic ones, like the rest of these modules are, there's not really a bathroom in there every time I hook it up in here. If you look at the Deimos or the Strauss Eklund, you're sleeping on a plastic like rock. So you have that literally leaves Tayo and HopeTech, which are very similar. The color schemes are basically different. However, the lighting is better in the Tayo. And no offense to anybody, I don't want to go pissing in the dark. I want to be able to see where I'm pissing. And so my brain tells me, okay, get Tayo. Now, again, you don't have to do any of these aesthetic models, but I very specifically wanted a window out the back. So I did that. And this weapon mount, again, is for, like I said, my turret. If I decide I want to move down to 1 turret, I put the 1 turret dead center in the middle. And then I got a window, and then my shield, and then another window, and then I have my Docker. And then this equipment plate has my scan jammer on it. Again, you get that from the shipbuilder at the Red Run, Parima, I think is what it's called. I could be pronouncing that horribly wrong. Now, I started from the back and worked my way forward with this. I tried different modules, and again, this is just all for me. Since I had a Tayo top, I was going to do a Tayo bottom to kind of even it out aesthetically. So it's kind of the rounded thing. I wanted to put a window down at the bottom again, however, I could not. The reason I could not is because Tayo has two beds right here at the back wall, and then two on the left side right here. If I put a window in either one of those two spots, it gets rid of the beds. And me being the nerd I am, my crew needs to have a place to sleep. I did, however, supplement that by putting two windows at the bottom. Again, completely aesthetic, just for me. You do not have to do that. Next, in front of that, I put the Galactic Frontier module. I don't know why I did it down there. It just felt right. I could put it up here. It doesn't really matter. But I put it there. And again, two windows down at the bottom, being able to see down there. Again, the modules are completely up to you, how you guys do them. This is just what I went with. Now, in front of that, I got the Nova Galactic NG6 landing bay. I got the NG6 landing bay for two very particular reasons. Number one, the NG6 has two weapons mount slots down at the bottom. So I can equip, again, to whatever direction this is facing. If I put this at near the end, I can have two rear facing at the bottom. And bottom mounted weapons are rare other than wings. So this thing has been very useful to me in my other builds, and so I was like, I'm going to use it on this one. Number two, it fits the aesthetic. This is all Nova Galactic up here. It fits. I like it. I also lined up my top docker and the ladder from my landing bay. So there's only this ladder, and there's usually like a ladder right here or right here. That's it. That's all the ladders in the ship. Like, it's the one to get in and one to go down. Like, that's it. Now, cross passage. I did the cross passage right here. The reason why I did it here is I did not want to impede operations. That's not some place you're just walking through. The only reason you're going through ops is to get to the bridge. So I have it here at the first section. I equipped a little bit of cargo in front of it on each side just to make it uniform. So I got one side is shielded cargo, one side is regular cargo. But again, I kept them uniform. And then I threw windows up here because, again, I like to walk around my ship. I like to be able to see out the windows. So I got some windows here. Now this, again, completely aesthetic. I put some radiators underneath the passageways just to kind of cool the engines or whatever you want to say, or cool the intakes for the reactor and the grav drive. Now, you can pick whatever reactor or grav drive you want. My grav drive is too big for this ship. I could actually very easily go down. I have 30 jump light year range. What you need is 25 or better for this game. There's nothing in the game currently that is further than 25 jump light years. Anything over 25 is a waste. So I could technically get rid of this and go down to the 50. If I find it. I could go down to this. Now, I'm not going to, only because I don't want to pay the money. I've already bought this one, so I'm going to use this one. I would recommend you work and do what's best for you. So this is a side mount. So I mounted this right up there. Same thing with this one. Side mount, right up there. Now, do you remember what I said with the landing gear the last time? It doesn't mount forward. So there's nothing to mount this landing gear on if I just slide it up here. Oh, I forgot I added that piece. There is something to mount it onto. So you can mount your landing gears there and there. And then I put some cargo, some additional cargo, there and there. Again, you can add more cargo, you can add less cargo. It's up to you guys how you want to do it. This is just what I did. And again, with what I did, I also added some more maneuvering thrusters on my engines because these are side connecting, so there was a free connection piece here. So not only do these mount forward, these also mount to the side. So there's two connection points. And then super simple. Go over here. I hit my because I'm on Xbox, I hit left bumper. And I select the whole thing. Now where I move it to, where the cross section is right there, I wanted it right in the middle. The reason why I wanted it in the middle is it still provides me with all of the beds. It still provides me with a little dining area. It still provides me with the bathroom. So everything in this ship is functional as if it was in real life. Like you could actually live on this ship and be all right. Now, as you see, the ship is not the widest. It's only 24 meters long or wide. It's not the longest. It's only 32 meters long. However, when it's all said and done, I have two of the particle turrets rear facing. I like particles because they do equal damage. They're high rate of fire. They're effective. I have two rear facing, so I can save power and go to other things. And then look at this. 2, 4, 5, 6. These two down here. 7, 8, 9. Just forward facing. And if I really wanted to, I have a weapon mount there. 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 And I could easily move this back there and have another weapon mount right here. Like, this ship was not meant to be pretty. It was not meant to be cool. This ship was meant to handle the Crimson Fleet on the hardest difficulty at any point in the game. And that's exactly what this ship does. Because the Crimson Fleet has those particle turrets. The Crimson Fleet has more ships than almost any other sector I've ever been to. And they're fast. If you go to SysDef, I can outrun SysDef with most of my ships, turn around and take them out in waves. Gives my shields time to regenerate. The Crimson Fleet does not do that. They are fast. They stay on top of you. They're constantly shooting you with missiles. High damage. This ship is one of the only of two ships that I've made that survives it without a problem. I love this ship. It's my favorite ship. But yeah. I hope that was effective. I hope that was a good build for you guys. I hope somebody else builds it besides me and my buddy, and I hope you guys like it. And if you do like it, or hell, if you don't like it, even if you hate it, but you've built it and you tried it, feel free to leave a message down below because I am going to upload this to a YouTube page. Mainly so I don't forget because I'm an idiot and I forget things all the time. So, yeah, y'all have a good night.